350,000 black women have lost their jobs, and instead of y'all talking about that, y'all want to talk about what? Kai Cenat. Who? Taylor Swift. Proposal. Don't nobody care about that. That's my point. Y'all love to say y'all support us, especially when it comes to things like, oh, black women taught me how to wash my ass properly. But when it comes down to black women doing entrepreneurial things to make sure that if we do get fired out of these corporate structures, we have somewhere to live, I don't see y'all running your pockets. Like, I don't see you pulling any money out of your pocket to give to any initiative that's happening. Where is the money at? Because just getting in the comment section saying, oh, I support you, and then not spending money with black women is an issue. And I don't know if y'all are aware, but black women are not even spending money on hair care products that are not black owned for the month of September. Are y'all doing that? Or did you just go out and buy, I don't know, Pantene or whatever the hell else that ain't black owned? That's what I'm saying. Y'all don't be rocking with us when it comes to our initiatives. Y'all don't be rocking with us when it comes to our boycotts, our protests, and anything that we try to fight for to get passed in Congress. I don't see y'all. And that saddens me. Because again, y'all gaslit me on my posts constantly, literally saying, oh yeah, we support you. And yet that support is not tangible. I cannot do anything with those few likes that y'all gave me. There's no tangibility in that. I want y'all to support us for real. I really do. You should be shopping at all black owned places. Because that's how we even out the scale. Why do we have to even out the scale? Because y'all motherfuckers are literally living off of everything that we built. Don't ask stupid ass questions. Next.
350,000 black women lost their job in the first 6 months of this year. But they talk about, oh, the unemployment rate ticked up a little, but it doubled, almost doubled for black people. What DEI was about black women who'd achieved a certain amount being taken from their jobs at one time. DEI has never done to America what GCI did. GCI is greedy, corrupt, incompetent white men. They talk about these things in an abstract concept, and if you look at the fact that black women are the most educated segment of our society, white men are the most uneducated. This was bound to happen. And the fact that there were a lot of black men and Latin men who helped this happen is something it's hard for me to reconcile.
You know what's really concerning to me is that, he didn't like the jobs report.
Right.
The one that he had touted before when it was in his favor, right? Trump didn't like the jobs report. And so then he fired the head.
Did you know that in just 3 months, 300,000 black women and femmes left the labor force? Yeah, in just 3 months. And that's not a coincidence. That's what happens when Trump's policies come for us first. He gutted federal jobs where black women have always found stability. Things like education, healthcare, public service, jobs that came with benefits, a pension, little thing called security. Poof, they're gone. And then came the DEI purge. Mentorship programs gone. Employee resource groups shuttered. Networking opportunities blocked. Basically, they've ripped out every ladder that black women and femmes have used to climb. Student loan debt payments are back and have doubled. Mine have doubled. Black women also carry the heaviest debt load of any group because they're one of the most highly educated groups but don't have the same resources to get through school debt-free. And once in the workforce, black women and femmes only are making about 64 cents to every white man's dollar. Automation is also taking over jobs where black women have been overrepresented while we're excluded from the high growth tech roles replacing them. And here's the gag. Over half of all black households with children are led by black women and femmes breadwinners. I'm the breadwinner for my household, and every 1% drop in women's workforce participation costs the U.S. $146 billion in GDP. So when they push us out, the whole economy loses. And yeah, I'm feeling it personally. I mean, I left my job to do justice work, environmental justice, racial equity, community empowerment, and I've trained orgs, helped build programs, help communities fight back. But many of the organizations that I've worked with have backed away from this work out of fear. And that means that my contracts are vanishing. My income is tanking. And the work that I was told was too important to lose suddenly isn't being funded. And it's especially disheartening because meanwhile, I see fascists that are losing their job for saying something racist and boom, suddenly they have $1 million GoFundMe. But when justice workers are losing their livelihood for telling the truth, I'm seeing crickets. So if you want this work to survive, and I know you do because you're following me and we're learning together, the workshops, the training, the advocacy, we have to build our own mutual aid work network. And that means supporting people doing the work. My Patreon is open. I even have a $1 level, and every dollar helps to keep the lights on and the work moving forward and the fight alive. Because when we protect Black women and femmes' place in the workforce, we are protecting a just and inclusive future. And surely that's worth a few bucks, maybe. All right. Thanks for listening.
Hi, guys. I just got let go from my job. I wasn't expecting that this morning. So I'll be fine. I worked for Midday Squares in marketing. They had to let go of the marketing division, which is fine. It just came as a bit of a shock. I'm a strong believer that everything happens for a reason. Able to maybe make more TikToks and create more content for you guys. Oh, I'm gonna miss it. I'm really gonna miss it. It was amazing. And I've learned so much in the past 8 months. I'm still in the parking lot. I haven't moved because I actually don't know how I'm gonna drive home. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys and just be really real.
My heart does go out to all the Black women who have lost their jobs and who are suffering right now because of what America is doing to them. But I have something to tell you. America will regret what they are doing to beautiful Black women, what they are doing to Black queens. We have heard that Black women are the most educated groups in the world. They have their PhDs, their masters, their degrees. They have whatever is needed to get them jobs. But even after all these things, there are still so many things that come against them. And for me, I am a child of a single mother, so I do understand the challenges that come with having a woman as the only person who is the breadwinner, and the challenges it can bring, especially if they're laid off for some time. I do understand that, and I feel so sorry for every woman out there who is going through what America is forcing them to face, because it is very unfair and it is just disgusting behavior. It's not okay to continuously rob a certain people so that you can bring them down. And you know what's funny? Actually not funny. You know what's surprising is God protects Black women so much because no one knows what it is like to be a Black woman, and especially in different countries, obviously. Being a Black woman is different for each and every Black woman in each and every country. So no matter how much probably white supremacist or white racist or a president like Donald wants to bring Black women down, he's always trying so many things, but Black women always rise, they always thrive, they're always shining, they're always clearing rooms and entering rooms and making sure that they are the star of the show. They are bringing something to the table. They're always winning. They're always, showing out and showing off. And it is amazing to see because God is protecting them. They are the blueprint. At the end of the day, it has always been that. It will always be that. But before I give my full commentary, let's dive in and listen to some of the other Black women and what they have to say. And then I'll come back and give my full commentary. See you shortly.
Unemployment for Black women is above 6%, and if this was happening to any other demographic in the United States of America, we would be talking about it constantly. So I'm going to talk about it a little bit. Since February of this year, unemployment rates for Black women have increased month over month by at least 0.5% to 1%, which is huge. It is estimated by the Bureau of Labor and Statistics that between February and March, when the bulk of federal layoffs happened in the first round, Black women lost 250,000 plus jobs. That's huge. I think it needs to be explicitly said that it's not an accident that the president's administration has been targeting DEI as well as the federal workforce, because Black women are overrepresented in those job categories and in that workforce. And the targeting of those two sectors was a deliberate choice that was made in order to increase unemployment amongst Black people, and specifically Black women.
I just got let go from my job as part of organizational shifts and return to office. As you guys know, I have been a remote employee for the past 5 years, really since the beginning of the pandemic. And I'm crying not because I'm sad that I got let go. Obviously, the instability of losing an income always sucks. What sucks most about being let go is somebody taking control out of your hands. I always preach internally and here at home that we have got to be the people in the driving seat of our futures, of our careers. And when a company takes that control out of your hands, it sucks, because all of a sudden the plan that you had, the roadmap that you were on board for, is gone. Now you've got to start over. And this is why you've always got to have a plan B, a plan C, and most importantly, an emergency fund. I am incredibly upset and frustrated. There have been several shifts in the company in this last couple of months that I just knew the writing was on the wall, and I knew my time was coming. But the fact that we have an emergency fund, because ultimately that is what matters at the end of the day, is that we have money to pay our mortgage, to pay for our daycare. We have that as a fallback, and I can take time, maybe a week, to just collect my thoughts and put together a strategy for job hunting. Always be prepared for the unexpected, because ultimately companies will always put themselves first. And as much as you want to believe that you're part of the family, you like the people you work with, it's a business transaction. It's a business contract, and you've got to handle it as such. But please know that you are more than your job. You are more than what you do. Have a plan, have an emergency fund. Do not spend more than you need to. Live below your means. We are in strange times. That isn't beside me losing the job, just general messaging. Protect yourselves, treat yourself as a business, and always be looking for better opportunities, because companies would do the same, and they are.
Okay, but no, hold on. I'm so thankful that we are really on this topic of black women losing their jobs, because can we talk about how they fired us? Because God damn it, I worked a full day, logged out, got a phone call 4:00. You fired. Turn the equipment in immediately. Huh? If you don't turn the equipment in, you getting legal charges for theft. Huh? And I ain't even got paid. So what the fuck did we do to America? My other sisters, what did we do? Tried to get an explanation. They felt like they didn't owe me no explanation. Cool. Filled out the unemployment shit. They ain't even responded back to that. I'm like, what's up? All right.
300,000 black women have been laid off in the last 90 days just in 2025. This conversation we're about to have is very urgent and it needs to be talked about. I read an article from wbcollective.org that stated that black women typically go into healthcare, government, and education, which have been considered very safe job sectors for us. Under the new administration and all these budget cuts, we have been absolutely affected the most. I don't think this is the time for us to be selling black women courses or telling them to go back to school, because a lot of them have families to take care of and they need support right now. So we need to be looking at ways that we can support all these women that have been laid off. If you are at a job and you're willing to refer a woman, please do so. If you are willing to help funding with them to get their business off of the ground, please do so. My name is Kina. I'm the co-founder of a tech organization. I have also been pushed out of corporate America at one point and decided to branch out on my own here in Chicago. So if you'd like to follow along for that journey, you can find me at NUCORD, and we create community for adults and students looking to break into tech. See you later.
Now listen, I am no economist. I hate economics. I dreaded that class in school, but I know black people. And so the signs about the impact of this mess on black people were there very, very early on. As soon as Elon Musk started running through our federal government, destroying ish, I knew that was not going to be good for black people. Even without the data, I just knew anecdotally that the federal government buoys, it is an anchor for the black middle class. I knew in my own family that basically my mom, my parents' entire generation of my family all worked for the federal government, and they weren't even in like the DMV or some major federal government regions, but they all worked for the feds. And so I knew this was not going to go over well, and we are getting more and more data about this. It's going to get worse in the next few months though, because the people that took that early out, that weird option they got, that weird email, they're not even showing up as unemployed yet in our data. And then We know the data probably is even worse than what's being released because these people like to lie about this. But all the signs are saying that black people, the black unemployment rates are starting to be red flags for economists who aren't even black, even they understand that when America gets a cold, black Americans get the flu. And we are the first red flag here, y'all, about how bad this economy is getting. And me and my friends, I'm telling y'all, we all got degrees and we are bracing ourselves for this because it's gonna get worse, like significantly worse. So the unemployment rate for black men is 7.1%. For black women is 6.7%. These have all increased. This is the worst it's been since around the pandemic era. And then this is also scary as well. Black teens are having an unemployment rate of 24.8%. And y'all know, I not a stereotype, but young people need to have productive things to do. If not, they're gonna find something to do and it will not be productive and you will not like it. And the other big data point that we've seen is 300,000 black women have left the workforce in the last 3 months. I'm gonna say that again. 300,000 black women have left the workforce in the last 3 months. This is very concerning. And one of the clips I saw today talking about why black unemployment should be a red flag for everybody is that a lot of the policies of this administration are going to impact them first. I'm saying them as I'm not one of them. It's going to impact us first because of the kind of jobs that we have in service industries and the federal government and things like that. And so we are seeing very quickly these policies ain't good. They not good. They do not create job growth at all. But one thing I always knew too is that people kept saying we have to shrink the federal government. Well, you got to do it more smart than that in a more strategic way, because the federal government, if you go look at the history of the size of our federal government in terms of like jobs, it grew significantly to get us out out of the Great Depression. And they would always play with the number of jobs in the federal government to help the economy because it helps to buoy the entire economy. And then they started to see too, the agencies, the federal agencies that Trump and Elon Musk went after, black people were disproportionately high in those agencies. Like we are in large numbers in those agencies, particularly black women. Also, of course, DEI backlash. A lot of black women held those jobs, black men as well. So we're seeing impacts there. Yeah, this is not good at all. And each time I see it, the rate for black women is 7.5% unemployed right now. The U.S. unemployment rate is 4.3%. So now we don't have DEI to ensure. So we bringing back the old boys club because we don't have policies to prohibit that kind of stuff. This is the worst it's been since 2021, which of course is still pandemic related. Why do we think Republicans are better at this than Democrats? They tank the economy every time. I saw a post today that was like, every Republican in my entire life has tanked the economy. Reagan, Bush, and Trump. And the person said, and Trump has done it twice now. Twice. So if you want to know where the economy is going, I suggest that you start tracking what's happening with black people, because we are the early signs, the canary in the coal mine about what's about to happen to the rest of this country. It is concerning. It also just really pisses me off because, again, I gotta keep mentioning this. We went out there and voted appropriately. We voted knowing this could happen to us, and y'all didn't, and now we gotta face the consequences for it. Makes me so mad.
300,000 black women have left the workforce, according to MSNBC, and it is not a coincidence. We have seen the cuts that the federal government has been making, specifically across the Department of Education, Department of Health and Human Services, and we have seen the cuts happen. We've also seen the cuts happen over the last few months, specifically at the federal level and also across the private sector due to DEI. And according to this article, the participation rate has now dropped below Latinas for the first time in over a year. One thing that stuck out to me that I thought was very interesting, which kind of led to the conclusion of this article, is that 51% of households with black children are led by black women who are the breadwinners. And the article specifically cites that black women tend to be the economic foothold of the black community.
So let me give y'all a little bit of insight because I seen this report and I also seen a news report that came along with it. And we had a conversation about it on the Millionaire Morning Show, right? And so really what this means is that there are a lot of single mother households. Let me say that again. There are a lot of women that broke up their families or that never had a family in the first place, and they decided that they wanted to partner with the federal government in multiple different ways, one including women that, basically lean on child support, social services, welfare, food stamps, and EBT. That comes along with also when they do get educated or when they do get a job, regardless of what field of study, even if it's not a field of study that is what society needs, they were basically somewhat guaranteed a job or a government contract or to work for a government contractor when it came to the federal government. And so basically the government has been subsidizing black women. And this is just a fact. This is not my opinion. This is not anything to do with relationships. This is just more or less the facts. The government has been subsidizing black women when it comes to their household, which gave them more power to be able to break up their families. And so now when we realize that diversity, equity, and inclusion was really government subsidies to ensure that black women had an opportunity to be able to work instead of them going into fields, which obviously we know that you had to incentivize them to go into like STEM fields, because if you didn't, then you wouldn't have those type of programs. If they naturally selected them, then they would be more visible and they would be more viable to what it is that we needed in society. But instead, now what you see is when the rubber meets the road and we go into a merit-based society and a merit-based capitalistic system, they no longer have any value because there wasn't a lot to do in the first place, and their jobs was basically all tied to the federal government.
I would say I don't know who needs to hear this, but I do. And it's the 300,000 black women that just got laid off. Pull up and listen for a sec, because your good sister in layoff has been there. And what I want to tell you and remind you of is God is able. Always. I got laid off in 2023 from a huge tech company. Then I got another job. Then I got laid off in 2024, girl. Okay? So that devastation that you feel, that feeling of being robbed, that feeling of I put my entire heart in this shit, I worked overtime, I worked twice as hard, I moved up, I did what I was supposed to do, and you still did this, I know that feeling. That feeling of having your identity wrapped up in a company and you were the girl that worked at X, Y, and Z and now you're not, I know that feeling. And let me tell you that this is just a season. This is just a season. But I want to first acknowledge that it's a devastating season. And I also want to let you know that it is not personal. Please hear me, and I'm going to say that again. Your layoff was not personal. We're not going to get into the reasons because everyone's situation is different, but it wasn't personal. So do not take it as I did what I was supposed to do and still got screwed, so what's the point? Do not let that demon of a thought settle into your soul. Do not. Because that is what will keep you from your next blessing. If you identify as a loser, then you can't get the blessings that are titled for winners. It won't reach your address. Okay? And I want to tell you this. Your belief right now is the partner that you need to your skills. You have the skills. You just need to believe. There are 300,000 other jobs somewhere. I don't care if they're in this country, out of this country, contract work, part-time, start a business, start a consulting, start doing content. I don't care. There is something out there with your name on it. Because if God could find me a job 2 times, I feel like finesse 2 times, okay? In a year, it can happen for you.
The problem with racism and being a big racist is that you don't realize that once you do all these things that you're doing to a certain demographic of people, that you're hurting yourself too. Because making sure that so many black women are losing their jobs will bring a hit to your economy. It will. It has to. And just doing this so that you can bring down a certain group while you go down too is just crazy. That's being a bigot. You're being dumb. That is very stupid. Doing that so that you can paralyze a certain community is crazy to me. And you know, in the videos that I have shared with you guys in this video, the ones that I have collected and featured in this video, I got 2 comments. I saw 2 comments in one of those ladies' videos that made me wonder. I'll highlight it here. That made me wonder what is going on, because some black men are supposed to be. Actually, black men in general are supposed to be supporting their black women. They're supposed to be there for their black women. But you see, those 2 men, they are black men, and they chose to speak the way they spoke over black women losing their jobs. That is crazy to me, because you are literally, without you realizing, you are being conditioned to go against black women instead of standing with black women during these trying times. Instead of supporting them and finding ways to support them, help them, and grow them, you are commenting negatively about their current situation. You see, black women have always supported black men, and I'm not saying this as a jab to black men, because there are good black men out there, but as a jab to the black men who are choosing not to support their black queens, because America, as we know it, is the system is made to make sure that black men and black women do not grow together. They do not grow each other, because those two, as a couple like this, that is power. That is a power couple. You cannot bring them down. And seeing that a woman from your community is suffering and is going through something, and instead of, speaking life into them and motivating them, you're finding that it's only black women who are motivating black women and not black men motivating black women. Because if the tables were turned, the black women will be supporting the black men. I think that is something that needs to be, seen, needs to be talked about, and needs to be challenged. You should challenge yourself as a black man. If you're not supporting black women, you should challenge yourself. At the end of the day, we know that black women are the blueprint. No matter what you bring, you try and use so that you can bring them down, it will never work. They have been through worse, and they are not going to let themselves go through that again. Their ancestors are looking at them, and they are more prouder than they have ever been. They are literally doing wonders right now. Black women are beautiful. They are striving to be the best that they can be. And even in the videos, you've had so many black women give so much motivation to the other black women who have lost their jobs. It's amazing to see. And it's amazing to see that there are women who are standing up for other women. And in the comments, I also saw black women talking about how if America is, trying to bring you down, you can look for a job in other countries. And someone was like, oh, thank you for that suggestion. You see, like growing each other. And that is actually a very good point. When black women connect globally and choose to do businesses outside of their government, outside of how their government will continuously, use them as marionettes and control their every move and their income and their what they eat, what they drink, they can do that for themselves. And I think that is a very powerful point. Black women need to come together and unite, because we have always supported each other through thick and thin. Black women are the cornerstone of everything that is in this world. That is what I believe, and that is what I know. Personally, that is what I know. And for us to, come together and unite and decide that we want to do something outside of what everyone else wants us to do, that can be such a powerful thing, because black women are the blueprint. Black women are the path. They do not need to follow a path, because they are the path that people follow. They set trends. They don't follow trends. They set it. They set trends. And let us believe in God that whatever is you're going through out there, if you are one of the black women who are going through a hard time right now, my heart goes to you. And we hope that people can continue, we can all continue to support each other in whatever way we can, because at the end of the day, we only have ourselves. We have ourselves to build each other. We have ourselves to pray for each other. We have ourselves to acknowledge what each and everyone is going through and help them get through it together. I hope you have learned something. I hope you have been inspired with the video that I have done. If you have, kindly do consider liking, subscribing, and sharing. And if you have something to say about this topic, if you agree with me or not, kindly do consider commenting. I'd like to interact with you in the comment section below. And I hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye and have a good time.